Now let me show you the heart of Jesus. After the resurrection, Jesus appears. He remains with them for 40 days. Acts 1, verses 1 to 5. Jesus appears alive physically in his physical body of flesh that he's now made immortal for 40 days, and then they see him physically ascend to heaven. That's Acts 1, verses 1 to 5. In the Gospel of John, he reports several appearances of Jesus. The first Easter Sunday, then 8 days later, he appeared to Thomas, and then the week later, he appeared early morning to the disciples who are fishing. That's John 21. He's on the shore, they see, and says, Peter, out of his excitement, if you read Acts 21, Peter, out of excitement, didn't even wait for the boat to make it to shore. He ran out of the boat, and Jesus was cooking fish. John says that the disciples caught 153 fish. It's in John 21. 153 fish. Pay attention. Why do you think he's telling you that the disciples that day caught 153 fish? Because this is what we call eyewitness testimony. Only someone who's an eyewitness or interviewed an eyewitness would know these details. So to show you that John's gospel is based on eyewitness testimony. Now watch here, the heart of Jesus. He's cooking fish for them and he feeds them. Now here's the question you should ask. Where do you get the fish? They're the ones out there fishing. He's on the shore and they catch 153 fish, but he's already got fish that he's cooking for them for breakfast because he's God. He can summon fish. In a nanosecond, they appear. He doesn't have to go in a boat and fish. You understand the point? Now watch the heart of Jesus. After they ate, look what Jesus says. After they ate, look what he says to Peter. Now watch here. Look at the heart of Jesus. John 21, 15 to 17. He looks to Simon Peter. So when they had finished breakfast, Jesus said to Simon Peter, Simon, son of John, do you love me more than these? Meaning, do you love me more than the fish? Do you love me more than your companions? Do you love me more than your occupation? Look what Peter says. Look what he says. Yes. He said to him, yes, Lord, you know that I love you. Now here's what Jesus says. Do you love me? Then you're going to have to show me your love. Saying you love me is one thing. You need to show me your love by your deeds. And here's one way you prove your love for me. Look at the heart of Jesus. Look how much Jesus loves us. If I love Jesus, Jesus says, well, Sam, if you love me, you better love my sheep. He said to him, tend my lambs. You understand? Jesus says to love him is to obey him. And one way that we show our love for him is to love each other by serving each other. So Jesus is so in love with us that he made it mandatory. You love me, you better love one another. So he now obligated me to serve you, because if I don't, that means I don't love Jesus. You see how beautiful the Lord is, how unselfish he is? So he asked him, do you love me? He goes, yes. He goes, all right. If you love me, feed my lambs. Now watch though, he asked him 2 more times. And here's, you're going to see the heart of Jesus. He said to him again a second time, Simon, son of John, do you love me? He said to him, yes, Lord, you know that I love you. Notice, he said to him, shepherd my sheep. Then prove your love for me by taking care of my sheep, my church. He said to him the 3rd time. Notice the 3rd time. Simon, son of John, do you love me? Peter was grieved. He was hurt. I'm going to explain to you. Watch how beautiful the Lord is. He doesn't embarrass people unless you leave no choice to then have to chasten you. Peter was grieved because he said to him the 3rd time, do you love me? He said to him, Lord, you know all things. See, Peter now knew who Jesus was. You're God. Jesus, you're God. You're my Lord and my God, like Thomas said the week earlier. And as God, you know my heart. You know whether I love you or not. You don't need to ask. Lord, you know all things. You know if I'm lying to you. You know that I love you. Watch this. Look what he says. Lord, you are the omniscient Lord. You know everything. You know every heart. You know whether I love you or not. You don't need to ask. He said to him the 3rd time, Simon, son of John, do you love me? Peter was grieved. He said to him the third time, do you love me? And he said to him, Lord, you know all things. You know that I love you. Jesus said to him, tend my sheep. Now, let me show you the heart of Jesus. 3 times, for the 3 times he denied him. If you read Matthew 26, Mark 14, and if you read Luke 22, Peter denied Jesus 3 times. So what did Jesus do? Have him confess his love for each time he denied him to restore him. I do not know this man. Peter, do you love me? Yes, Lord, you know I do. I don't know him. I don't know what you're talking about. Peter, do you love me? Yes, Lord, I do. I swear I don't know this man. Peter, do you love me? The Lord had him confess his love for every time he betrayed him and denied him. That's the heart of Jesus. Instead of Peter saying, Lord, do you still love me after I betrayed you and denied you? Do you still love me? Look at the humble Lord. It's not Peter asking, do you still love me, Jesus, after what I did and I betrayed you, after all you've done for me? It's Peter asking him. It's Jesus asking him, not Peter asking the Lord. It's the Lord asking him, because he's restoring him by having him confess his love for every time he denied him. And now he says, now go show your love for me. Take care of my church.